Hello everyone, myself Richa Roy. This PPT is about the topic parser in compiler design. Here you will learn about the definition of a parser, what it does and how it works. Also, what are the different types of parser are there, and the most important, that how a string is processed using parser. Here are the outlines of the presentation. Moving on to the first slide, which tells us about what is parser. Parser is also known as syntax analyzer, which takes input in the form of tokens and break the input data to produce the parse tree. This slide is all about the role of a parser. In the given diagram, as we can see, the source code goes through the scanner and then it breaks into smaller elements known as tokens, which then goes through the parser to produce an intermediate representation. And lastly, if there is any error in the source code, then it produced meaningful error messages. A parser performs the following task. It performs context-free syntax analysis, it guides context-sensitive analysis, it constructs an intermediate representation, it produces meaningful error messages, and also attempts error correction. The next slide is all about the types of parser. Parser has mainly two types: top-down parsing and bottom-up parser. Top-down parser can be again further classified into backtracking and predictive parser. On the other hand, bottom-up parser can be classified into LR parser and shift-reduce parser. Further, LR parser can be classified into SLR, LR and LALR. LR parser is known as left to right parsing. Moving to the next slide, we can get a brief idea about top-down parsing and bottom-up parsing. In top-down parsing, backtrack may required. It starts at the root of the tree, picks a production and tries to match with the input. In bottom-up parser, it starts at the leaves and fill in. It recognizes valid prefixes. It uses a stack to store both state and sentinel forms. In this slide, we will learn about the left recursion. A left recursion is a grammar which has a non-terminal such that there is a derivation a arrow a alpha for some string alpha. Here, all the non-terminals are considered as capital letters and terminals are considered as small letters, operators, parentheses, etc. Here is an example of left recursion. E arrow E plus T, T arrow T into F, where E arrow E are the non-terminals. So this grammar it has left recursion. Moving on to the next slide, we will learn about the rule to move the left recursion. How we can remove left recursion? These are the following rules. that how we will remove left recursion. Suppose there is a production A arrow A alpha slash beta, where beta does not begin with an A. Then we can eliminate a left recursion using this we can eliminate left recursion by replacing the pair of productions A arrow beta A dash arrow alpha A dash slash null. This is known as right recursive grammar. This right recursive grammar functions are used in predictive parser. This is an example of left recursion elimination. As we can see that there is a grammar E arrow E plus T slash T, T arrow T into F slash F, F arrow E within the parenthesis slash ID. In step 1, we can see that E arrow E plus T slash T. We will compare the grammar with the production A arrow A alpha slash beta, where alpha refers to the portion plus T and beta refers to the only portion T. Then after elimination we will get E arrow T E dash arrow plus T E dash, means beta E dash and then alpha E dash slash null. This is the rule. In step 2, T arrow T into F slash F. Now comparing with A arrow A alpha slash beta, where alpha is star F and beta is F. After eliminating, we will get T arrow F T dash arrow star F T dash slash null. So after eliminating the left recursion, these are the productions we will get. This is an example of left recursion removing, which you can try for yourself. Moving on to the next slide, we will learn about the predictive parser. Predictive parser is also known as LL1 parser, which is a recursive descent parser, and it performs parsing by using stack of activation record. It is a type of top-down parser. As it is known as LL1 parser, these two L and the one in the parenthesis signifies some meaning. The first L refers that the input is processed from left to right. The second L refers that parsing determines leftmost derivation. The one in the parenthesis implies that it will process one input symbol at a time. The data structures used by LL1 are input buffer, stack, and passing table. Now, the construction of predictive parser is based on two important functions, which are known as first and follow. And to perform predictive parser, we have to follow some steps. Firstly, step 1, to compute first and follow function. Then step 2, we have to construct predictive parsing table using first and follow. And step 3, we have to parse the input string with the help of predictive parsing table. So these are the rules to calculate or to get the predictive parser. Now next come on to the very important slide, that is the first function, how we will calculate first and follow. Firstly, there are some following steps to calculate first, or rules. Rule number 1, if there is a production that is alpha equal to xy, then first of alpha equal to first of xy, where x is a terminal, means operators parenthesis or small letters. Otherwise, if first of x does not contain null, then only we will take first of x. Otherwise, if first of x contain null, then what will happen? Then we have to take first of x by eliminating the null, and then we have to union and means merge it with first of y. So what we have get? We have get that first of xy means if first of x contain null, then first of x minus null union first of y. Then the follow function. The follow function have 4 rules. What are the rules? If there is a production A arrow alpha B beta, if there is a production A arrow alpha B beta, where if alpha is a start symbol, then follow of alpha will be $. If follow of B, then follow of B equal to first of beta if first of beta does not contain null. If first of beta contains null, then follow of B equal to first of beta minus null union follow of A. And lastly, if follow of beta does not followed by any terminal or non-terminal, then everything in follow of A will be in follow of beta. Means, as you can see that here is a production A arrow alpha B beta, where beta after beta there is any non-terminal or there is no terminal. So follow of beta will be follow of A, and if follow of B contains null, then first of beta minus null union follow of A, and if follow of B does not contain null, then it will be everything in first of beta will be in follow of B. Now let us come to an example. As we can see that there is a grammar given over here, then we will calculate first and follow of only the non-terminals. We will calculate first and follow for the non-terminals. Then as we can see, we will calculate first of S, first of B, first of C, first of D, first of E, first of F. First of S is referred, as we can see that first of S equal to, according to the rule, there is a terminal, so first of S equal to A. Then first of B is also contains a non-terminal, so first of B equal to C, small letter C. And first of C is there a terminal B and a null, so first of C means a terminal B and a null. So we have written first of C equal to B comma null. First of D, as first of D is a non-terminal, so we have to consider first of E, where first of E is G and it also contains null. So first of E minus null union first of F, which is already mentioned in the rule that if first of E contains null, then we will eliminate the null and then union with first of F. So what we get? We get G, F and null, as first of E means G, eliminating the null, and first of F means F and small f and null. Next, first of E contains a terminal G and null. First of F contains F, small f means a terminal and null. Moving on to the next slide, we will calculate the follow function. With the same example, we will calculate the follow function. The follow function, as according to the rule, follow of S is the start symbol. So it will consider follow of S equal to $. After that, follow of B. In the rule ace arrow A, B, D, H, where we can consider that ace arrow A, B, D, H as A arrow alpha, B, beta. Then alpha is A, B is the capital letter B, and beta is D, which is followed by H. So the rule will be like that. Follow of B will be first of D, where first of D contains, in the previous side, where first of D contains null. So follow of B will be first of D minus null union first of H. Why? Because after beta there is a terminal H. So we can consider first of D minus null union first of H. First of H will be H, but first of D minus null will be GF. So follow of B will be total GFH. After that, follow of C equal to follow of B. Why? Because in the production B arrow small c comma small c capital C, where we can see that after beta there is nothing, A arrow alpha B. So after B there is nothing. So C, the follow of C will be considered as that everything in follow of B will be placed in follow of C. I hope you have understand that. Again I am repeating, if there is nothing after capital C, means after follow of C, the which we are calculating, after C there is nothing. So everything in follow of B will be in follow of C. So we have written G, F and H. Okay. Now follow of D. Follow of D refers to what? Refers to, as we can see in the first production, S arrow A, B, D, H. So D is followed by whom? D is followed by a terminal H. So we have written first of H equal to H. Then follow of D means H. After that we will calculate follow of E. Follow of E means we will take the production D arrow EF, A arrow alpha B, where follow of E means F contains null. So what did we did? If F contains null, then we did first of F minus null, whichever terminals contain nulls, means first of F, if first of F contains null, then we will eliminate the null, and after that it will be followed by follow of D. Why? Because there is a difference. After EIF there is nothing terminal or non-terminal, but in case of follow of B there is a terminal H. So we have written first of H, but in case of E there is nothing after F. So we written it follow of D. So that's why first of F minus null union follow of D. So what did we get? We get F comma H. I hope you have understood. Then follow of F, similarly it's same. D arrow EF, after F nothing is there. So we will consider anything in follow of D will be placed in follow of F. So follow of F equal to follow of D equal to H. I hope you have understood it. Moving on to the next slide, which is very important, that is parts table generation, where we have already told you that there are the several steps. Step 1 is we have to remove left recursion. We learnt it over there in the previous slides. We already have learned that how to remove left recursion, and you guys will try it for yourself. So we have firstly for parts table generation, if a grammar is given like that, the solution in step 1 we have to remove left recursion. After removing left recursion, we have to calculate first and follow. As we can see, we have calculated first of E dash, T dash F, and then we have calculated the following. Let me give you one example. As we can see that first of E means, here in the previous slide, E arrow, T E dash. So first of E means first of T. First of T means first of F. Why? Because we are deriving. First of E means first of T. First of T means first of F. With first of F means what? First bracket open. First parenthesis we are getting. So here you see we are getting first parenthesis and we are also getting the ID. Okay, we are also getting the ID as you can see that here F arrow, first bracket open close E and slash ID. So these are the production rules after eliminating left recursion. These are the rules we got. So here we written that there is a F arrow, there is first of F where first bracket and ID we got. Similarly, first of E dash in the production there is plus T E dash. So in the first of E dash, plus is a terminal and then null. So similarly we got the several first functions for E dash, T dash, F. And now with the follow function. With the follow function, in the follow of E, as we can see in the follow of E, we have taken dollar. As E is the starting symbol, we have written dollar. And after that, we have given the second bracket parenthesis, because E in the production, F arrow, first bracket open E, then first bracket close, then ID is there. So the closing bracket is considered as a terminal. So E is followed by the closing bracket, and as it is a starting symbol we have taken dollar. Similarly, the other we will do follow of E dash equal to follow of E, because in the production E arrow T E dash. So after E dash there is nothing. So after beta there is nothing. So everything in follow of E will be placed in follow of E dash. You will understand if you will follow the rule generally. If you will follow the rule, you will understand. So this is how we will calculate first and follow. This is step 2 for parts table generation. After that, there is step 3, the important step, that we will generate the parts table. How we will generate? We will generate the parts table. As we can see that there is written over here what are the first and follows we got. Okay, in the table, firstly the non-terminal are written vertically. Okay, and the terminals means ID, plus, star, first bracket open close, and the dollar symbol are written horizontally. Okay, now how we will place the productions? How we will place the productions over here? There is some rule for parts table generation. If the first of E contains null, then we will consider the follow of that non-terminal. Then first see an example. E, in the non-terminal E, first of E is first bracket comma ID. Okay, then we write from where we are getting the production, E arrow T E dash. This is my production, so I write this production over ID and first bracket open. You can see we write ID E arrow T E dash in ID and E arrow T E dash in first bracket, because first of E does not contain null. After that, E dash, first of E dash contains null. So we will consider follow of E dash. Then what we will get? E dash arrow plus T E dash. In the plus column we will write E dash arrow plus T E dash. Okay, and we will write in the closed bracket and dollar we will write E dash arrow null. Why? Because from the null production we got the follow. We have to consider the follow. So E dash arrow null we have to write in the follow part. Second bracket closing and dollar. After that we consider the non-terminal T. T does not contain any null. First of T does not contains any null. So we will write the production in ID T arrow FT dash, T arrow FT dash in the first bracket place. Then T dash. T dash where T dash contains null. So if T dash contains null, then we will consider the follow of T dash. Then what we will do? The production which starts with star, that T dash arrow star FT dash, we will write in the star column of T dash. We will write in the star column of T dash. After which are left, that the follow functions of T dash, we will write T dash arrow null, T dash arrow null and T dash arrow null. Okay, means after that we will consider that in the other columns we will write T dash arrow null, T dash arrow null, T dash null for the follow functions. And lastly for F, if F does not contain null, so first of F does not contain null, so F arrow ID, F arrow first bracket open close E, because ID, where there is ID we will write the production F arrow ID. Where there is a first bracket so we will consider F arrow E, first bracket open close. I hope you have understood this. Just keep in mind that the first anything in the table, that the non-terminal are placed vertically, the terminals are placed horizontally. We will consider the productions, the first of E dash. If first of E dash, these productions, if these non-terminals, any of it, first of E does not contain null, then we will only consider the first we will only consider the non-terminals in the first function, and if it contains null, then we will consider the non-terminals in the follow function. Moving on to the next slide, which is all about the processing of an string, where the string is given W equal to ID plus ID into ID, where we can see we will take the perform the actions from the table we created. So what is there is 3 columns: stack, input and action. We have to write the actions what we are performing, and in the stack we will have the start symbol, means from where we have started. The starting non-terminal is E, so we have written that, and after that there is in the input we will write the whole string. We will traverse through the and we will process till the end if and only if the stack and the input got empty. Wherever the stack and the input will be empty, means dollar, then we will stop the processing. We can see that E, so firstly we will take from where we will get the productions. So firstly we will expand it by E arrow T E dash. So we know in the stack it always, firstly it will take input E dash then T. Okay, so it will always go like that firstly we will write E dash then T always. So E will be replaced by or expanded by E dash T. After that T will be replaced by, we have to got the ID. So if two sides, means if the stack side, stack if I got id in the stack portion, and if there is input and in the input portion if there is id, then both will be popped out. What I told, that in the stack and in the input, if two non-terminals, but if two terminals matched, then it will be popped. Means if there is id in the stack or id in the input, then it will be popped. So as we can see that t arrow ft dash. So then again we will in respect to t, we will expand t by ft dash. So firstly t dash will enter in the stack, then f will enter in the stack. So we got e dash t dash f, then f is replaced by id, so id will enter into the stack. So in the stack there is id, in the input there is id. So after both of them if matched, then one will be popped. So both is popped. So e dash t dash is left over here, and in the input portion there is plus id star id. Okay. Then it is expand by t dash arrow null, because t dash, from t dash I will never get the symbol plus. So if null enters, then in place of t dash null will enter, so e dash is left. From e dash we will get the next, from e dash we will get the next we will get e dash arrow plus t e dash. Then the production will, as is shown, that e dash will enter in place of e dash will enter, then t will enter, then plus will enter. Plus and plus matched, so we will pop. After that, in place of t, we will place t arrow ft dash. So firstly t dash will enter, f will enter. After that, f is equal to id or f arrow id. Then id I will give the input in the stack id matched, and then id will be popped. Similarly, after this, t dash is expanded by star ft dash, where t dash will enter, f will enter, star will enter. So star in the stack and star in the input will match and then popped. Similarly, the rest we will do, and in the last, if there is e dash and t dash, then they both are expanded by null, because I have to make it empty, means the stack and the input must got empty. After that I will make it halt, or we will stop the processing. So this is all about how a string is processed using predictive parser. Here are the limitations of syntax analyzer. As we can see that it cannot determine a token is valid or not. It cannot determine if a token is declared before it is used. It cannot determine if a token is initialized before it is being used. And also it cannot determine if an operation performed on a token type is valid or not. So this is all about the PPT. This is all about predictive parser. The next slide will be soon. Thank you.